The autobiography Escape from Saddam takes the reader through the incredible journey of Louis al-Samari and his voyage from Iraq to the UK. Born in 1976, Louis, whose birth name was Sarmed, faced the many hardships of life that were present under the rule of Saddam Hussein. From the ever-present paintings of Saddam to the stories of his cruelty, the power of Saddam Hussein was constantly on display throughout Sarmed's childhood. Hearing of all the horrors of the regime resulted in a deep desire to leave Iraq. But how? The borders were heavily guarded and escape was nearly impossible. To make matters worse, due to Sarmed's poor grades and poor attendance at university, he was forced to join the army. The 3-month training at Baghdad Training Center began with 1 month of educational courses that were meant to teach every bit of necessary information and routine to turn the group of citizens into soldiers. This was followed by a rigorous physical training period. Sarmed was then assigned to the military camp in Al-Amara, 400 agonizing kilometers away from his family. Shortly following his arrival, Sarmed was lucky enough to be offered a transfer to the Al-Mansour compound, this time much closer to his family. He knew this was his chance, and days before he was scheduled to be transferred, he made his escape. Cutting through the barbed wire fence, he crawled along 150 meters to a quiet road nearby. But as he made the crawl, the officers spotted him and started to shoot, striking him in his leg. After hitching a ride back home with a bullet still stuck in his right leg, his uncle informed him of the Al-Shamari, the very group that was going to help him cross into Jordan and escape from Iraq. As they made their way to the Al-Shamari villages, they were stopped at numerous checkpoints, but Uncle Saad's military jacket and the special beretta he prominently placed on the dashboard were enough to get them past. As the duo made their way to the village, they found Abu Mustafa, the villager who Uncle Saad had hired. A few other village people were introduced, and the plan was in motion. Sarmed learned as much as he could about the village, and even practiced his accent, just in case he had to prove to the border agents that he was part of the tribe. The Al-Samari routinely made trips near the borders of Jordan, as they were nomadic and traveled based on season. It was arranged that they would take him past the border, but he had to make the journey to Amman, the capital of Jordan, by himself. As the darkness of the night engulfed the desert, they started towards the border. When faced by patrolling agents, the tribesmen told the arranged story that they were traveling to go sell sheep, and were allowed to continue. As they approached the road to Amman, the tribesmen continued onwards, while Sarmed headed towards the lights of the road. As he made his way, rabid wolves attacked, coming at him from all directions. He emptied the 15 shots in the black beretta Uncle Saad had given him, and luckily, he injured one of the wolves. As the pack feasted on the injured one, Sarmed bolted towards the road, trying to ignore the agonizing pain of the bullet in his leg. Sarmed made his way to Amman by way of bus. There he tried applying for asylum, but was simply given an interview date. Sarmed then contacted his uncle's friend, Wissam, and was given a place to stay. Sarmed eventually found a place to work, and soon even rented his own residence. He made a nice living for himself in Jordan, but a chance encounter with a policeman reminded him he was still illegal, and had to make it to the UK. With the help of a close friend, Sarmed forged a plan to get to the UK through Malaysia. Upon arriving in London, he immediately filed for political asylum. He then made his way to his uncle Faisal's home. Much later, after meeting his wife Rachel, Sarmed, who took the alias Louis, heard of the torture his family endured due to his abandonment, and vowed to free them as well. After one failed attempt, and the close encounter with prison for the theft of the funds to finance the attempt, Louis was finally able to get his family to London, far from the evils of life in Iraq.
Created using Powtoon.